Okay, the next question is, how do you get over a spouse or a child doing something incorrectly or not how you would do it, and reconciling a different idea of what done looks like? We have a story of that because when we were first married, Jason said that he would do the laundry, which is amazing. So he would do the laundry, and I, at the time, this is a long time ago, I had these sweater sets, and I think he shrunk probably two or three of these sweater sets, and each one was kind of expensive. But you know at that point it was more important to me that he was willing to do the laundry, and so I could, kind of more like the training of, like, these actually can't be put in the washer, they have to be hand washed and then put out to dry, to air dry. um, Instead of just saying, you know what, forget it, I'm going to take over the laundry because he's not doing it my way. So I think you can establish like a minimum standard, that you both can agree on. So for this job to be done, what does that look like to be done, and what standard does it have to meet? And maybe you need to meet in the middle, but because you might have really high standards, and if you care so much about something, then that maybe should be on your plate. If it really bothers you, like sending out holiday cards, that's going to be always on my plate because I just care more about that than Jason does, and I wouldn't be okay just letting go of that and having to accept what his minimum standard is. So just agree on what that job looks like. I also think it's important to really talk through what is involved, in doing that task. If you're going to take over cooking, well, then you need to take over the meal planning process, going to the grocery store, preparing the meals. Like, you have to do all of it. You can't just show up that night and cook. If someone takes the job, they need to claim it from start to finish. And that way they are bearing the mental load and then doing the action as well. I think that's really important. And then you guys can talk through, what does making dinner look like? And maybe you want to talk about, like, terms of how healthy is it, or balanced meal, or is getting Chick-fil-A out every night acceptable, or what's your minimum standard? So anyway, I think you need to have that conversation.
Well, and just to finish that, I also think that once you're in charge, essentially, right? Like Susie's in charge of our meals. That doesn't mean she does every single bit of cooking. In other words, at that point, then she can delegate. For instance, if I happen to be going to the store, going to Costco or something, she can delegate, tell me to get some certain things, or she can say, okay, Wednesday night we make breakfast for dinner, and you're in charge of that. Or Saturday night you're going to make burgers or steaks or something. And so, but she's still sort of like the one responsible for that. But it doesn't mean she has to do all the work. And I think that's both are important, right? The person who's sort of ultimately responsible, and then the person who's kind of getting it done any given day.
Yeah, and I will say Jason is actually much better at laundry than I am now. I think it's better that I don't do that job because he has, over time, he's gotten so good at it that he puts me to shame. So